Okay, I'm recording this. So I just rescued my cat from a 30-foot tree. I It's their birthday today. Happy birthday, cats, my beautifuls. And I decided that for their birthday, I would take them to the park. And there was a husky that came right up to us, and I should have immediately put. Ramses was already in the crate. Of course, he doesn't leave the crate. But Kali was out, walking around tentatively. And of course, like this husky just comes right up and just starts to aggravate, as huskies do. And she starts to get a little on edge and hiss a little bit. And the owner of the husky comes over and is like, "Oh, hey, whoa, whoa, there's a cat? I didn't know there was a cat there." And I'm holding on to her, and she's like getting a little violent, but I have her, and he still has yet to leash his dog, and just kind of like wanders around, tentatively like, "Oh, come here, come here, come here." It's like, get your animal in this situation. And she starts getting more and more violent, obviously. So then and then he goes for Ramses in the crate. He hisses. They start attacking each other, the cats. She starts attacking me. That's where all of this is from. And uh, I am also bleeding from my head. And the dog ends up chasing Ramses, and he gets out of his harness and goes. They have like a little tussle, and he goes right up the tree. This tree, there's like a 30-foot tree, and he just goes right. He goes right up the tree. Meanwhile, the dude is like, I'm like, meanwhile he still hasn't leashed his dog, and I'm like clutching Kali just so that she doesn't do the same thing, and I'm like, "Dude, leash your dog, please." And he's like, "Well, whatever, get your cat." Meanwhile, my cat is up a fucking tree. Like, thank you very much for your advice for the problem that you caused. So, whatever. But of course, I have absolutely zero space to confront him at all, because my main concern is the cat is in the tree. And the sooner that this guy just leaves, the better. So I just ignore him as he continues to blame me for the situation. What I'm truly at fault for is trusting in this other pet owner to get control of their animal. But of course, like, huskies do whatever they want. They're bossy and spoiled and entitled and all that. So they're just gonna, yeah, sure, beautiful animals, but they're probably not going to listen to you unless you are really their alpha, unless you've really made that clear. But of course, this guy probably was, "Oh, I got a husky. That's cool. Yeah, check out my dog. It's hot." Like, not me, but. So there I am with the cat in the tree, and Kali's in the crate, and I'm calling every, public service thing that I can think of, shelters, and every single one of them like either directs me to a line where I'm on hold for 20 minutes, or is like, all the fire departments are like, "Oh yeah, we don't do that shit, sorry." Yeah, so I'm like, okay. And like, I can see him, he's up there. I'm posting pictures, by the way. You're gonna see all this, what I'm talking about, okay? So the sun's going down. Like, it's 8:30 right now. This probably happened about 4 hours ago. All right. So I just got home, and he's still very mad at me. So there's a lot going on between us right now, understandably, and so I'm basically getting turned down by every animal services, whatever, fire department. Like, everyone's like, "No, we don't rescue cats from trees. I'm sorry, son. As much as the movies might dictate otherwise. That is not what heroes do." Well, it is what heroes do, okay? Because there were a few heroes tonight. I called Andreas. Yes, I called Andreas. And well, he called me. I texted Andreas and I said, "Do you have a ladder?" And he said, "Yeah. I'll be there. I'll be at the park. I got a ladder. I'll come and find you." And I'm like, "Do you have a flashlight?" And he's like, "I have 5 flashlights." Like, it's Andreas. Okay? So I doubt I could have called anyone else in the city that was more prepared than he was tonight. Okay? So, um, so he's got the truck. Meanwhile, the sun has gone down, and it's an hour later. You know, of course, he has to get home, get the ladder, come back with the truck. It's the sun has gone completely down. I can't really see him anymore up in the tree. He's like, and you'll see the tree, you'll see the situation. But there is like a big, big trunk, classic trunk. We got a branch. We got a big old thick branch, and so he climbed that trunk. He went out over the branch, and there's like a little knot, and there's like a lot of branch bullshit up there, right? So I'm worried that he's gonna obviously climb higher, but from where he is, he's basically like if the branch is like a slope kind of situation, he's at the top of that slope. So it goes up, it goes out at an angle, and he's like at the knot at the top of that angle. All right. So we're trying to obviously, set up the ladder so that it can reach that exact knot where he's at. And it just falls short. I would say he was probably, a little over 30 feet where he was. And, but who's counting really? And the ladder would not reach the knot where he was at. It was like just maybe a half an inch short. And of course, like, I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe Andreas will climb the ladder. I don't know. Maybe we haven't talked about it yet. But, I don't know if it's like for certain that I'm going to do it, but I'm certainly thinking this is something that is probably going to happen because obviously we have to limit the amount of risk there is of him, jumping and running even higher. We decide to get the ladder as high as it can go, kind of at the crux, at the breaking point where the branch goes out, and he's at like the top end of that branch. We're thinking like, okay, well, I guess this is a choice. This is something that we could do, I guess. We could and then climb up to him. Right? Like, that's something, I guess. Sure, I guess we're going to try that. So we set up the ladder. It's sturdy-ish. I'm looking at it. I'm not a heights person. I'm really not. I take 4 steps up the ladder, and I'm like, this isn't happening. This is not happening. And Andreas was incredibly supportive the whole time, just very casual, very calm. And it's like, well, why don't you take another step? See what that feels like. Like, okay. Take another step. No, it's not going to happen. It's absolutely not going to happen. And then I decide, you know what? I'm not going to think about anything. I'm not going to think about someone is very happy to be home. Kali was just in the crate the whole time, just sitting there, waiting patiently. So I decide, you know what? I'm just gonna worry about getting to the top of this ladder and seeing what I can see from there. And so I do. I get to the top of the ladder, and then I see him, and he's there, and he's pretty far away. I'm gonna have to climb a little bit further to get to him. And then from that point on, it just became like, what do I need to do now? Like, I didn't think about what I could or couldn't do. It was like, so I got to the top. I actually went back down and grabbed a towel that I could possibly use to wrap him, to like restrain him a little bit. And got to the top again, and there he was, just sitting there. He was probably like a good 6 or 7 feet away from me at this point. And the other thing that I realized once I got up there is that it was basically all bramble. Like you got up to the top, and it was just a thicket. Like some of it was dead branches, some of it were live branches, and it was like some Lord of the Rings shit where you're just in this harsh thicket. So I couldn't really move, once I was up there. So I spent a lot of time just trying to break branches away just so that I could have space to move around and to climb the tree. and and I had to shimmy forward on my stomach because there was too much bramble above me, and so I was just trying to get to him at this point. Like I wasn't thinking about how I would get back or anything. And then I get to him and he's very, very cautious. He's growling. He's scared. He's hissing. He is not moving away. He's not jumping any higher or trying to get away. And I get close enough where I feel like I can reach out to him. And I put my hand up so that he can smell me. Doesn't react to it. Nothing. Doesn't hiss. Doesn't really sniff. He's just there, wide-eyed. But, and I pet him just a little bit and he growls. I'm like, okay. The next question was like, how do I get him? Right? How do I get the cat? Worry about the next step later. First, get the cat. So I reached out, grabbed the cat. He's very strong. Okay. I had to really grab him because the moment I tried to pull him forward, like grab him by the scruff, pulled him forward, he's trying to get away. He's trying to escape the situation. So I basically had to just yank him forward and just clutch him tight because he was trying to get out. Anything with my hand to move, he was like, I'm trying to get out. So I just had to sit with him for a really long time. He's hissing, he's growling, he's like he's not going for me, right? Because I have him like I'm tucked in, all right? And the next half hour, 40 minutes is me just sitting up there with him, just trying to get him to tire out and just calm down. And Andreas has a blanket. He's like, well, you could throw him in the blanket. And then we're thinking about, well, we could call the fire department now because there's a human stuck in a tree. So they would have to come and rescue me. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Eventually I am able to scoot, now I have him and I'm scooting back on the branch, just trying to get back to the ladder. I have no idea how I'm going to get down this ladder holding a cat that is trying to escape at every turn. And then finally I hit a point where it's like, oh, there are branches in the way. And I can't, because it's the thicket. I'm getting up to the thicket and I can't move back any further. And I can't do anything. I can barely move without him trying to get out of my arms. So then I'm able to wrap him up in the towel finally, which was incredibly, incredibly difficult. He pissed on me. He shit on me. And I'm trying to get back. And meanwhile, there's this basically what saved the entire situation up there, 1,000%, was this tiny little nub that was just there, right there, at exactly the right spot it needed to be for me. And I took a picture of it. I climbed back up after this whole ordeal, and I took a picture of it because it's that important. This thing is the entire reason that this was a successful endeavor. So I'm grabbing onto this, I got him, and I'm grabbing onto this thing, and I'm basically contracting because I can't sit all the way back because there's nothing behind me. I'm still kind of enough. So I'm basically squatting on this thing while my pants are getting stuck. But whatever, I'm just trying to move backwards a little bit. Andreas has to come up and Andreas has to climb the ladder and unstuck my pants so that I can scoot back even further. And then finally it's like, well, okay, now there's this ladder. Now how am I going to I can't climb down this ladder with this cat. How am I going to climb down this ladder? And Andreas was like, well, you could go down the way that you're facing. Okay, I guess I could do that. So I'm grabbing the thing, and I have to hoist my leg while this is on the branch, holding the cat, holding onto the thing, not really any grounding, hoist the leg over the branch, down on this side. So now I'm kind of like straddling it like an elegant lady on a pony. Okay, not really a straddle, but like with the legs to one side. The ladder's right there. Okay. Have the cat. Now, holding onto the thing. Now I gotta switch hands. So now I'm holding onto it with my right hand. Left hand has cat. Step onto ladder. Okay, ladder is there. Step onto other ladder. I am standing straight up on this ladder. There is no tree behind me. There is only fall in front of me. Step down another. Swung. There's a little swing. Whoops. Little whoops. Whoop, didn't quite catch it there. Oh, there I got it. Cool. Still holding on to this thing, which you will see in the pictures. Down a little bit further. And again. Back. Okay. Okay. And we're gonna do it. And then I just immediately started crying. Once I knew that we were safe, immediately started crying. Down. We hugged it out for a long time, and then I put him in the crate, safe in the crate, and then Andreas lit up a joint, and we smoked the fuck out of that joint, and then I had to go back up the ladder to take picture of this situation so that you can see it, and also you want to pay tribute to this little stump, this little thing that was like, it was so steady, it was not going anywhere, it was a part of the tree, it supported me the entire way through. So thank you, tree, and thank you, Andreas, and thank you, Ramses, for sticking with me through this. And yeah, so that's what happened today. That was my life. Felt like I needed to just say that stuff out loud before I forget that it happened. I wasn't thinking about anything except what I needed to do in that moment, whatever my next step was in that moment. Just focus on that step and get that step done. And because it was impossible. No planning could have ever made any of that work better than it did, because it was what needs to happen now. Okay. What needs to happen now? Okay. What needs to happen now? Okay. Andreas is truly a hero. He was my only choice, because there was no fire department, no animal rescue, nothing. Just Andreas. But he's the only person I needed, because he really, he was just so casual the whole time. I'm literally up there risking my life, and he's just like, come on, man, you got it. Just like, be a squirrel. You got this. Yeah, just shimmy up that thing. Yeah. Like, whatever I needed to do was like, all right, you got it. Cool. Which was, yeah, if there was someone there freaking out, probably wouldn't have helped. But some real life lesson stuff, I think. Some big, I don't know, maybe some that was a big thing that just happened. So, and Ramses is okay, and I think he's going to be mad at me for a little bit now here, and that's going to be all right. So, thank you. Thanks for listening, and have a great night.